we just got this Puffco, and it's ready to be hit. So I'll do the inaugural hit of some sour ass diesel hash oil. Show y'all how it's done.
Doesn't look like too much.
Ooh-wee.
But that's how you
be twisted.
That's how you start a Sunday morning anyway.
Yeah. This is a good Sunday morning. Good Sunday fall morning in New York City with the Trinity Infinity. We're the Verrier Podcast. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, Mare Bear?
Oh, excited to take this hit of this magical, mystical marijuana concentrate that is now in my life. That has been long awaited.
Yeah, you've been calling in dabs for a while. I resisted the idea, and then we hit one of these, the Puffco. And I was like, oh, this can be kind of simple. I mean, it's way simpler than it was, but it's a little more involved than what we normally do. But it's well worth it.
I mean, barely with the cartridges that we use for vaporizing
That's true.
now.
Yeah.
We're always in a sort of a weed process.
Yeah.
I think with what we do.
I think weed's addicted to me, and sometimes it's like I want to get a hit from a different angle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it wants to take a hit of me through some dabs. So I'm like, all right.
Well, the technology is so advanced now. I told you guys last time I had a dab rig was still when we were extracting with butane, so I was just like a petroleum junkie all day. You know what I mean?
Creeps me out.
It's the worst.
But now this high, which I hate admitting because flowers are my girl and they're always going to be my girl.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No offense.
But she is even cleaner.
It's like,
it's pure. I think it's going to make my life more productive.
yeah.
Because I've turned into just an all-day stoner now. I can't handle life without weed now. So
Me too.
it'd be cool if I could be more productive while also being super high all day.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to solve my problems.
I don't know. I can't even imagine you being more productive than you already are.
You already get a lot more done than any other stoner I know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like sometimes it makes me believe in secondary charts because I used to feel like I really was so militant. And I guess naturally without weed, I am just like a military officer of some sorts, ballerina military officer.
I'm a police officer.
So I don't feel that productive these days. But yeah, it is the thing that makes me feel like I can exist on this planet without a crushing amount of guilt at every moment. if I'm working on something. But that's just the Virgo play, you know. My life feels meaningless unless I'm being used for something.
Used and abused or just used?
I mean,
Slayed and obeyed.
That's like, yeah, that's a luxury. That's an indulgence. Hopefully that gets to happen.
Let's see your skills, Mare.
Well, you know, I'm sorry. You have to be patient with me. It's so sticky. I can barely get off of this thing.
Yeah.
You got to be patient because I can't rush because if I rush, I scrape it down the side and then this little sensor comes off. It's smarter than I am.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised they don't have like a
It can
little
feel.
dab gun like you have a little, like a Pez dispenser, like a little pellet of.
I know, it's just so sticky. I guess they'd
There's
have to
probably
have
something
a
like that.
resistant lube around that thing that it was in or whatever so it could spit it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, scientists get on it.
The deeper you go in this weed game, the stickier it gets. and it's cool. You figure out a way to deal with it and wade through it.
Yeah, totally.
Gunked.
Gookity gunked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm trying to be productive at night, and I'm trying to get on a later schedule.
Yeah.
I just love to switch it up. I'm such an experimenter with my everyday.
Yeah. I'm switching it up in the opposite way since daylight savings. I was like, I'm way too aware that that could bring on some sort of unnecessary depression maybe, or a lull in my energy, just like that it's going to get dark. So when the clocks went back, so did we. So I started waking up at 7:30. And it's been good. I've been it feels crazy that you've gotten so much done already by 10 a.m. I'm not familiar with that feeling. I'm used to waking up at 10 a.m. I'm usually sleep from 2 a.m. till 10 a.m. person.
Oh yeah.
But now I'm like 11 to 7.
That's what I'm saying. I can get into a mode where it's like I feel just so guilty for not taking advantage of every moment of every day, and I like have to wake up early, and then when I wake up early, I have to start the day with a gym, and sometimes I just feel like I need to get off of that and like be in a totally different part of my personality, where I'm like, let's see how late I can sleep in. Let's like push myself in a different way.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's just like I need to expand different parts of my psyche, I guess.
Mm.
So right now I'm in a how much can I be a medieval princess part of my psyche.
How late did you stay up last night?
Pretty much went to bed when we all went to bed.
Like 12:30 or 1.
Yeah, we did good. We met in the middle.
Yeah, we met in the middle. I've been doing like, 2 in the morning, and then I wake up at 8 because my upstairs neighbors play hockey.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. We come down here to get away from our upstairs neighbors, which are my parents, screaming and yelling all the goddamn time. I'm like, oh man, I just need to go down to the city. And we come down here, and there's literally a kid like practicing floor hockey or something.
I
upstairs.
love him. I hope he goes pro.
Yeah,
Fucking rooting for the guy.
And I hope he's doing what we think what he's doing.
No, I know he is.
Yeah, he's playing hockey.
I've seen those
around
hockey
up there.
sticks and those bulls.
All right.
They load them into cars, and I'm like, oh, fuck
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have to go up there this morning because I really do just need to have one conversation where it's like, bro, I love you and your hockey, and I want you to make so much noise. Like, tear my fucking roof off, but do it after 10:30.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to tear your face off.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the deal.
exactly.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. That's how I feel about the boys too across the street. Like, I actually do like that they have fun and that they're loud and stuff. Like, I'm in the LES. I don't live some fucking delusion that I'm gonna have like a quiet, peaceful life.
Yeah,
and I think
right.
the people that hold that here are completely psychotic. Like, I sing opera. I want to be loud, and so like I want to extend that privilege to other people.
Right. Yeah.
Even when it's like 2 a.m, I'm like,
You're like, well,
they're having fun. Someone's having fun on this planet.
Yeah.
And probably in that moment, that's better than what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, there's something better about being delayed going to sleep than being woken up too early.
And many times it's me hitting my broom on my ceiling.
Oh, you get into it like that.
That's how they know. They'll stop.
Yeah.
If I just.
If I get unnecessarily or accidentally woken up in the morning, I don't know if there's any rage that I unleash harder. That's like,
Yeah,
to me, the number one sin.
You and Joey are both very protective. Oh, you guys cast too. You're like defenders of sleep.
Yeah. It's it feels important for me to even function. But I do see the fun in not getting that much sleep. Like, when you're sleep deprived and you're like, it's like you just took 5 dabs. You're like, wait, how do I have more energy than when I have sleep? Do you ever tap into that, like being that sleep deprived where you're
It's like when I'm really in love or something, I'll stay up.
Like when we
You have
first
different type of nutrition or whatever.
When we first met, like getting by on way less sleep,
Yeah, I can still do that. Just a couple nights ago, I feel like I slept like 4 hours or something. And really, for me, it's escaping these stupid fucking boxes we get into our lives about like A plus B equals C, because truth is always more moving and there's always chaos to wade through. So it's like I stopped making those like, oh, if I don't do this by this certain time, I can't sleep, or I can't, just like dissolving all of those boundaries.
Yeah. We did a little band practice the other day, and you drank an espresso at like 7 o'clock at night.
I slept so good.
Yeah. You just got to get out of your head that there's anything even going on there.
Well, like, because if I wake up from 5 hours of sleep, like that day, I think I told you guys, it felt like I woke up with more serotonin than I've had in 5 years. It was weird. I was like, I don't even know what to do with this happiness, especially because I've been so depressed recently. And like, if I had stuck with like, I know I'm going to feel shitty today because I only got 4 hours of sleep or whatever, like my whole day would have been shit, because I had the freedom to be like, chaos, whatever, like, what do you have for me today? I was able to like enjoy that, and it's definitely given me a lot more freedom. And sometimes I need 10 hours of sleep, and that's the only way that I feel okay. But it's just letting it be different, I guess, and knowing that I'm so different all of the time. I'm just like Stormy, so
Everything's changing.
Yeah.
Everything's switching.
Yeah. I heard Mariah Carey gets 15 hours, and then that like really motivated me. I was like, okay, so if I want to sing like Mariah Carey.
She probably has like a Michael Jackson-esque doctor.
I was just about to say.
No, then I was like, I'm going to have to get a doctor. Probably gonna have to get a Xanax prescription. I don't know how else I'm gonna. I keep trying. I'm like,
15 hours.
I wake up and
is
I'm
a
like
lot.
Mariah Carey, and I try and go back to sleep, and I can't.
I've heard of friends. I've had multiple friends get blackout drunk and take like an overdose of edibles while they were blacked out drunk and missed a whole day. Like woke up thinking it was gonna be Saturday morning and it was Sunday morning.
Wow.
I've never had had a crazy like time like that. Not yet.
I haven't had a time where I've slept that long on edibles. I don't think either.
Where you wake up at like 8 p.m. and you think it's 8 a.m.
That's happened to me, but that was pre-drugs or anything. That was just me being confused. High schooler, where 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. like kind of the light looks the same outside. And I was down in Florida, and I had taken a nap at like 5:30. I woke up at 6 p.m. thinking it was 6 a.m. Just started taking a shower. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? But we're hanging out. We have a Puffco in our life now. All's well.
Oh my God.
We haven't seen Mare in fucking 3 weeks.
Wow.
So we have to come bearing gifts for our queen.
They know how to show up.
Yeah. When she says that she's been feeling depressed, she just means she misses us. She's just too proud to admit it. We missed you, but like I said, I'm glad we didn't take you down to Halloween. Cause
After talking this morning, I'm especially glad that you didn't.
oh, you're you're pissed that there's packs of sluts everywhere.
Pissed.
I have a new name for them. I call them Destiny sluts.
What does that mean?
It's the kind of girl like you look at, and they're usually like age like 19 to 26, and they're smoking hot, and they're quote unquote spiritual, but this was their destiny. This was their destiny all along, and they just got to flaunt it while they have it. And right now they're just in their destiny slut phase, and Halloween was filled with them, and that really turns Mare off. So we got to take her to if we go to a festival with Mare, we have to go to like fucking Desert Days. We should take Mare to Desert Days.
That was a cool one.
Yeah, that's much more. The music makes it sexy, not the people. It's like a sexy vibe because you're out in the desert and doing your thing. Well, I think we lost Mare.
You're like, you know what triggered Mare this morning? Let's go in through that.
Oh, I was just fucking talking. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not triggered by sluts. I think you could probably call me a slut on some levels.
No way. No.
I'm triggered by
way.
reaction to sluts and our current existence in humanity. But it's okay. We don't need to talk about my existential crisis of pedophilia. I think
pedophilia?
we can just have funner conversations on this podcast. You know what I mean? There's so many things to focus on in this chaotic life. You know what I mean? And I think in the hellscape we just have to be better at curating and choosing because it's all here available to you. Yeah. Yeah. Discernment. It's good. Choosing what to let in, choosing what not to let in, choosing how to let it in, choosing how to let it slide down your throat and be dissolved into your guts and integrated into your feet that walk this earth,
Not easily distracted by Aquaman.
Yeah.
Well,
There's lots of things to get distracted by in this lifetime. My favorite distraction is people cutting soap.
Oh yeah,
It's
Mare
what
sends
really
me
gets
videos
me
of
off
people
right now.
cutting up soap.
Yeah, they dice it up kind of on the top, and then when they slice it, it's almost like a wave, and it's just very satisfying.
That's a whole genre of
ASMR visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Water pressure. You like water pressure washing videos where someone's cleaning concrete?
Oh, I haven't watched those yet. I've done the chalk is pretty good too. Crushing chalk in your hands.
Is that?
I like that one.
I get the cringies.
There's a lot of really popular ASMR people on TikTok. When the lives come up, that's what the lives are a lot of. People doing into a microphone and then they have squishies that's one of the noises. Squishies that they put around it.
Bong rips is probably ASMR.
Bong rips? Oh man, if I still smoked bongs, I would start a bong rip ASMR channel just to watch this drive channel.
That would be good. That's a good interlude between a song. It's like a I'm sure someone's done it.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be a thing.
Every Cypress Hill song.
Exactly.
Do you remember Cypress Hill? Was
No.
Cypress Hill ever big in your life? You didn't ever get into Cypress
Oh yeah,
Hill?
Insane in the Membrane, Insane in the Brain.
That you didn't have a stoner phase of Cypress Hill, Cass?
I guess not.
That's so funny.
I never genuinely listened to it.
Oh, I genuinely listened to Cypress Hill while I was smoking weed. Like when I first started smoking weed, I was like, oh my God, there's like a whole band dedicated to just like honoring weed. I love this.
Yeah,
I
don't know why I thought it was whack. I thought it was wiggity whack. But
It
I
probably
do
was.
like it. I do like it. Now that I look back, I'm like, they were bold. That was
You're
cool.
like too cool for rap. I was not too cool for rap. I listened to hip hop and rap all like growing up and still listen to hip hop and rap. But yeah, that was when I was ripping like dirty water bottle bongs, you know, and Cypress Hill seemed fancy. They had their big glass bongs and they had been smoking for a long time. I was like, these men probably have something to teach me.
What's the longest bong you've ever smoked out of?
Ooh, that's a good. I think at the Cannabis Cup, I did probably one that was like 10 foot.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Mare has the lung capacity. She can do it. She can handle it.
Yeah. It was my swimming roots.
Right. You're like, I can handle these 10 feet of smoke.
I think
Yeah,
when
maybe I'm exaggerating.
I like it's so weird because like I think I wasn't like a child for that long. Like I started practicing like hipster level discernment in my life at like 11 years old. Maybe it's because I was an oldest child. I had no one else to look up to, but everything was like, that's for kids. That's for my sisters. Like that's not like everything.
Yeah.
That they were trying to spoon feed me. That like people were buying into. Like I don't know. If I was like a youngest brother, I might have been ripe to get into like Korn or Limp Bizkit or something. Like that shit was marketed heavily towards.
You were too
people.
old for Limp Bizkit.
Oh my God.
But like it, like you know what I mean? Like it's weird. People are like, "Oh yeah, the Ninja Turtles took over my life," and I was like, "Yeah, I was like 12 years old when that came out, and I just felt like it was for kids." Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just
That's
wasn't. I
interesting.
wasn't like I didn't have much of a childhood within my childhood. It feels like I was listening to the music I listen to now.
Yeah.
You know? It's so weird.
For me, astrology, it kind of speaks to you're on like the latest degrees of Capricorn with your rising. You're like old man, rising life force, you know.
Yeah.
Been here, done that.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it also circumstantially in your life, yeah, you didn't get much of a childhood. I think all older siblings feel like that, but you really obviously had that circumstance in your life in a much more extreme way.
Yeah, totally.
But that is interesting that you always kind of listen to the same music. I listen to Britney Spears, you know what I mean? I was at the Justin Timberlake concert. I have lots of shame in my musical history.
But you're 13 years younger than me, so you were a young lassie when that came out, really young.
Yeah.
So it was perfect for you. My sisters picked up on all
I ate
that
it up.
stuff. Yeah.
I loved it. I had a Bratz doll.
Oh, I was too old for that.
But I never had, my mom said I was never into like playing with baby dolls. Not that anybody gives a fuck about this, but I wasn't super into like Barbies and dolls and stuff in general.
I was, and I used to make them like have very adult relationships.
That's hilarious.
Like affairs.
I
and
bet you
stuff.
were super into Sims too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Cass loved The Sims.
Yeah, and I like knew all the hacks on how to like watch them have sex in bed.
I knew she was going to say something dirty. So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sims. God, that was just like the beginning of VR.
It didn't hold for me though. Like it's kind of crazy. It's kind of
It fell off for you.
we're in this beautiful time where, you know, the metaverse is not taking off, and there's nothing that's really giving me more pleasure than that, you know.
It will.
It will take off.
Unfortunately, yeah. I thought the same thing. I got some pleasure out of like, oh, they can't do this. They think that they're just going to push this product on us and we're all going to want to live as VR little whatevers. It'll be a thing. Trust me. It's going to be a thing. It's not taking off right out of the gate because we're like, what the fuck is this? But it's going to be a thing.
Well, because they're so good now, those contraptions they use that they put on your body when they do animation, and when they can do it with robots too now, where they put a bunch of sensors and the robot can be doing what you're doing. I think that'll be how they're basically just going to have people like act out scenes and pretend it's VR and like hook them up to stuff, and that'll be like the animation that you're experiencing. You know, I think that's when it's going to be like, oh, you can't tell reality, because it will be reality kind of.
I wonder if people are going to like, before they go on a real date with someone, they're going to be like, let's have a sex date and see if we have like compatibility in this department.
Whoa.
And like
Virtually instead of touching skin.
Yeah.
Like when monkeypox becomes a big thing, I think probably.
Test it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think dating by like t-shirt is going to, like, they're going to create a dating site that's like, we'll send you, wear a t-shirt and then send it you put in a package. Like, that'll be high-end dating, is being able to, like, smell your potential partner ahead of time.
Whoa.
Wow.
Damn, guys.
Yeah, if they get everyone off birth control.
Yeah, there's some things that need to happen first.
If they get everyone off birth control. Somebody was talking about that for your phone, like if they could attach some sort of like smell sensor or whatever into dating apps on your phone.
I mean, I think it's impossible. I mean, nothing's impossible, I guess, but you'd have to have like some base chemical sense, like
Right.
accessible to do that.
Right.
But there might be a way that you can do a chip implant in your brain and activate those senses through a computer chip.
Did you guys see the AI animation of human evolution that they asked it to do that kind of went around and went viral?
No, I did see one of the evolution of whales.
Where did they go from?
They were
Or
like
to?
they were a squirrel. They were like, I'm not kidding you. I was like,
started
is this
as a
fake?
squirrel.
It started off on land.
What?
And it was like drinking from water, and then it just like goes in the water and it's swimming a little bit, and then it starts to develop like legs that can really swim, and it just slowly over millions of years becomes a whale.
It
Were
was
they
like,
doing it backwards?
No, it fucking started off on land.
it's like a platypus became a
Yeah,
whale.
yeah, it just like it looked like a platypus at one point.
Maybe
in
we're
its
gonna
evolution.
become mermaids.
Yeah, but we came out of the water, right? Like, what was
Feels
the
like
human?
I came out of the water. I'll say that much.
What was the human
Well, the
evolution?
squirrel
one?
came out of the water
Also,
too,
my
so it
name
must have
means
come out and
star
come
of the
back
sea.
in.
Yeah,
What was the human evolution one? What'd that look like?
it's really freaky.
Is it?
Well, we go from like an amoeba or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like an
We're taking it way back.
they took it all the way back.
Back when we used to just be one cell.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it goes from, you get to human from like ape, Neanderthal, whatever. What we know, classical evolution. And then we turn into cyborgs, like we start doing the implants, and then we're full robots. And then we're just tubes. We're like a system of tubes.
It takes it into the future.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
And
all
it's really
tubes?
freaky. We
The
just
Matrix.
turn
It's
into
all pipes?
tubes. We
Yeah.
just turn into pipes. Like we're aspiring to be a pipe system.
Oh my
I
god.
can't believe you guys haven't seen it. I'm so excited to
I
show
need
it
to
to
see
you.
that. Wow.
Yeah.
And we're just at the beginning of something.
Of
Right now,
becoming-
we're still a squirrel.
I think of becoming a giant computer, and we're like the,
Mm.
like the connective tissue in the computer.
Wow. Yeah. Malcolm McLuhan said that back in the 60s. He's like this like futurist like philosopher guy, and he said that we're the sex organs for the technology world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I do think AI is using us at this point. Did I send you guys something about AI being aware?
Yeah, these come up from time to time. Some of them are fake.
Yeah.
But
Oh, do you think that one's real? I mean, I have the worst judge. I'm the worst judge. I'm gullible to everything on
I
the
think it's
internet.
real.
yeah, I believe it.
There was an AI, and then he got him to have a lawyer, the guy who invented this AI, and the lawyer's now representing the AI to be like, have rights, civil rights.
Yeah.
Man, if AI gets rights before women, you know it's pretty bad. Like, come on. But once they're sentient, they're like everything else. We should be considerate of whatever their needs are, or whatever this thing is.
Yeah.
It is us. It's just a very strange thing.
Imagine being AI where someone could just flip you on and flip you back, flip you off and then on. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
And then you could you don't know how long you've been asleep for. Kind of like Severance, you're just like popping back in.
Yeah.
Like incarnation.
Everything's changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Your mainframe has to update to all the new language. But it'd be like instantaneously, I'm sure.
It's like waking up from a dream.
I watched a movie recently where somebody got stuck in a computer, and I wish I could remember it. It was based in a psych ward, and everyone was wearing white, and it was great.
Is it a newer
You should
movie?
comment if you know what I'm talking about.
Is it a newer movie?
Yes. I think it has Aubrey Plaza in it, but I could be implementing her into this.
I love her.
I
We
know you
skipped
love
over
her.
that one because it says
Whenever
it's a
I see her,
thriller.
I think about her.
I'm like, I was just like, this looks like it's gonna be too intense for me.
I think you guys would like it.
Yeah.
It's not intense in the way that like we don't. I think we all are kind of like dislike the same kind of intensity.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty
no,
similar that way.
Yeah, yeah. So you're a good person to watch stuff and
Yeah,
then tell
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Like that one's safe.
It's not like gory or.
Yeah.
But it's sad.
Documentaries, I'll jump right in. I know it's gonna be like we just watched the 4-part Phil Spector thing, and it's like forensic about this woman he killed. It's like it gets in there.
Yeah.
And you, like I had to keep closing my eyes because they keep showing like the crime scene photo.
Oh wow, is it crazy? Oh,
It's just disturbing.
Yeah.
It's just disturbing.
So you get the energy from it too.
Yeah. And like
They show it like her legs were like she was on a chair, and so they basically just show from like here down her body. Just
And
like,
it's
Wow,
just
they show her
weird.
dead body.
But
Yeah.
not like up
That's
here.
pretty
They don't show her
wild.
face and everything. They just show, but it's just disturbing because like you could just feel what went down. It was very sinister and weird. But I actually do recommend this documentary. I'm surprised it's like hidden on Showtime of all places because it's really well made.
Stuff popping out.
Showtime
Yo.
does have some bangers.
They need to change their name because
I know.
You know.
They got to merge with somebody. Or
They really do.
Showtime and HBO should merger.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
But it's called Spectre, and it's a 4-part thing, and it's cool because like each episode kind of like starts from the point of this murder, and then it goes into the past, so you learn about him, and like the whole thing is like I was a fan of Phil Spector before he did this, and part of his legend was like he pulled a gun on the Beatles, he pulled a gun on Leonard Cohen, he pulled a gun on the Ramones, like legendary, but like he was just an out of control alcoholic with like
Complexes.
many complexes, and you know he used to trap people in his house. Like he had a real major loneliness issue and would trap people. He didn't want anyone to leave. If you were drinking with him, you were going to be drinking all night.
It was all about him not wanting to change the chemistry, so he tried
Yeah.
to like hold on and control the chemistry.
He would threaten people with a gun. He's like, you're not going anywhere because it's going to change the vibe. You're
He
not.
clearly had mental illness, and I think
Right.
that's like when you're basically always on acid or whatever it is. Like, yeah, someone leaving is like a huge vibe shift, and you probably feel that so intensely.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
very scary, I'm sure,
Right.
for someone who's so sensitive.
Right.
But one of the things, and it just always comes up in these fucking like so many musicians that we've all heard of, and their music has made such a tremendous impact on culture, lost their parents at a young age. And Phil
Yeah.
Spector, his dad killed himself when he was 10 years old.
Oh.
And another documentary we recommend is about Shania Twain. My boy Jesse recommended that. Thanks, Jesse. And we checked out the Shania Twain documentary, and I didn't even know her parents were both killed in a car accident in like 1987, long before anyone even heard of her.
Such a rough way to go.
Fucking crazy, but it just makes me think of how many musicians you could just go through the list. They all lost parents at a young age. Like a lot of the people that came out, and like Paul McCartney and John Lennon, both of them.
Yeah, I read a book a couple of years ago called The Talent Code. You can also listen to it on audiobook. And it tries to break down why people are talented. It's really good if you're like an artist and a creative and you're trying to embrace yourself being more talented. But they basically willed it down to a few things. And one of those things is losing your parents at a young age. Because, well, I mean, you can only theorize about why, but I'm sure it just like sets in some sort of immediacy, I think, in your action as well.
Yeah.
Well, you need like love as a human. You need love and attention, and mostly and mainly from your parents. So
Right.
like the lengths you'll go to like replace that gap or that hole in your life are pretty extreme.
Totally.
And also, I think that there's something to be said about the spirit of your parent or someone close to you who dies entering you.
That's
And
what I always think of.
I don't know. It's enough to make me scared to like. I don't want to do magical rituals to become like more talented or more successful because I'm like I don't know what cost that comes at. Do you know what I mean?
It definitely does come.
Call
with
me
some
suspicious,
cost.
but I like that the people in my life being alive.
Well, it seems like on the other end of it, like they have this loss, but like their best work always comes out of when they're newly in love too. You know, it seems like Shania Twain fell in love with this guy Mutt Lange, and they wrote like an album with 16 songs on it, and 14 of them were in the top 10. You know, like insane. Everyone knows all these songs. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even listen to Shania Twain, and I know these fucking songs.
Yeah.
And it came out of this burst of 6 months where
They fell in love.
she fell in love. Like all of a sudden, her like spirit was rejuvenated, and instead of going on tour and making a lot of money, she was like, "Let me hang back and write some songs." And
Well, she wanted to be able to tour on only her own music.
yeah, not
And
have
that
to go
was-
out there and play covers and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it was clear that Mutt Lange like really while he ultimately cheated on her and stuff, he really supported her true voice and her being like really recorded in a way that I think a lot of female artists weren't recorded at that time. And her power.
Sounds like he gave her a voice.
Oh yeah.
well,
Well, he was producing like
I know that's like painful to say, but it is like the story of like most female success in music is like the other half of the equation comes in and is like writing for you and doing what he did for her, right?
Well, she was
And
already
also-
a hit in country, and she wanted to be a pop star, and he was a hit in rock and roll, and it was just like kind of the
Amazing
perfect
chemistry,
and
yeah.
he was producing AC/DC and Def Leppard, so like apply that to like this powerful country voice and just make it a little more pop. It was like, it was ripe. Like what I was
Yeah.
saying to you, I was like, this might be the most obvious stoner fucking thought ever. But the next big thing, and I can only apply this to music and movies because that's what I know the most. It's the thing that's going to change the world and grip people in a way that you can't imagine. It's sitting there, and it's probably quite obvious if you think about it. But it's sitting there waiting for just the right artist to distill it down. And I always think of Kurt Cobain. Like,
Yeah.
punk was going to break. Like
Yeah.
it was just lined up, and it was just ripe to break. Somebody just needed to have grown up on the Beatles and Kiss and this kind of thing, as well as Black Flag and the Descendants and the Wipers and stuff, and just bring it all together. And it's happened countless times. And what you added to it, which I thought was really awesome, is it's trying to repair whatever archetype needs healing culturally at that moment.
Yeah, that's my biggest theory on who becomes popular, especially with music. It's like the main archetype that needs healing in the collective. Like, I don't think it's random that we worship Beyonce, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like we need to continue to worship Black women, but
Yeah.
we definitely needed that collectively on a karmic level and
Yeah.
on many levels.
And many
he was-
women paved the way for her, and she was just the right influences at the right time, the right
She's a
discipline, the
star.
right parents. Everything was just like boom, perfect. Venus in the first house.
And him, absolutely. And him, like, you know, I feel like he was, you know, a voice for so many forgotten about, like, boys, you know, in suburbia
Yeah.
who, like, nobody gave a fuck about. And we started to talk about Eminem because of this as well, because it was
Yeah.
like, you know, all the white kids in the hood that nobody started to get, and really people now don't give a fuck about, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
you know, he needed to give a voice to, and they needed healing and they needed to feel heard. And so, yeah, it is always... I had a vocal teacher called like that kind of stuff wild cards at one point. Like, she was kind of explaining Eminem and his popularity to me, and like I was like, I think that's everybody. Like, I think it's like it's always just that's why people, you know, kind of be put on a pedestal. You're putting part of yourself that needs to be seen up there, you know,
Yeah.
that you've shoved into a closet, and this person is brave enough to, you know, trope around on stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
And more than anything, and it probably applies to everything, but mainly music, is we love watching people who are sure of themselves, you know, and so sure of themselves that they made it this far that they're performing for us. Like, we love that.
Absolutely. Because we're also, all I can do is project, but that's mainly what I go through.
Yeah.
Unsureness of thyself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I assume most people are also going through that. And you were talking
Yeah.
about hearing some interview with Andre 3000, one of the most talented, beautiful people that's ever incarnated,
Yeah.
not being able to produce any music or art
He
because
hasn't made
is
anything-
completely, it doesn't.
He hasn't made anything since he was your age. Everything we know of him was when he was like 29 and younger.
Yeah.
And then he stopped and basically became a victim of his own celebrity in a way a lot of people could have, but you know, the greats.
It's easy to see from the outside kind of what happened is that he had like this, like community, this house where they would, this basement where they'd all get together and like create inside jokes and turn each other on. And then
Right.
through celebrity, he's isolated himself and doesn't
Right.
have that. And he obviously is probably best used in like the playing off of other people, of wanting to make people laugh, of wanting to
Right.
like further the conversation. So I think what happens is when you isolate, you don't have that pathway to create.
When you get rich and famous, you don't do like what we do with Ghost Pipe, like where it's like, oh, we're all just friends on the same level. Let's just take some acid and see the best music that comes out, and then little jokes come out of it, and we build on those things. It's like it's harder to do that when you're rich and famous.
Well, because he's healed now. You know,
Well, that's the other
he has
thing.
like privilege, and I
Yeah.
think what you're like, it's definitely like a spark thing and an influence thing and a passion thing, but it's also just like a relate thing. Like, you can't make art unless you have something like relatable to say. I think that you feel like connects to the rest of the population. You have to be in the population for that to exist, you know, unless he was able to tap into like, I'm just writing like royalty music for this echelon of people, you know, and he was able to like, but I think there's something about like, And that's probably what, a lot of people think like, oh, people's first albums are the best because then they get ruined by whatever. It's like, it's probably just because they were the most human at that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were the closest to everyone else's experience. And then they had this other experience, this alien superstar, royalty, God experience. And then it's like, what do you have to say that I'm going to be like, about, like that's not my experience anymore.
Well, like I think of like Bruce Springsteen had like,
oh my God, he's a great
15
example.
years of like
Working man.
really working man, pure expressions. And he says, it's the first thing he says in his Broadway show is, I'm a fraud. I've never worked a working class job. I've always been a musician since I'm 14 years old.
Yeah, but he's a working man's musician.
Well, his dad had all those jobs. Like he was playing the character of his dad, and he made great albums that I love, but it really fell off after Tunnel of Love. Not to say he hasn't made great music since then, but that was 1987, and that was his divorce album, and that was like the last very human, relatable thing he probably went through.
Right.
He was 41 years old, had already conquered the world with Born in the USA, and then made his divorce album, which is one of his best. I think Tunnel of Love is one of his best albums. And then after that, it's like a rich guy trying to access that old thing. And he hit on some stuff, and he has hit on many great things, and he's just one of the all-time greats. But it became tougher for him. It's very interesting. And even thinking of him blowing up and the archetype that he was. Yeah. It's like, like a real working class hero, and his videos like had him as a mechanic and a baseball player and, a working class guy playing in a bar, these kind of things. And it was just one of those archetypes that we needed healed that like Bob Dylan paved the way for, but he's way too elusive,
Yeah, and well, even like I've said this to you before, like the way that Bruce uses his voice to me is very like peak of his art, because he's a man trying to sound manlier than he is, and that's kind of like the description of, I think, a lot of the people that resonate with his music is people that feel like they have to be more masculine than they want to be out in the world, in these jobs that every day, know, and like this kind of a slog thing.
And he gets down there, and he said he's never taken a vocal lesson, but he's just one of these people that happens to naturally sing from the right place when he sings. Totally. So he said, like, my voice is kind of stronger than it's ever been. And he sang on the Howard Stern show, and I was like, it does sound fucking great. But he also gave away, this is apropos of nothing, like he was like, people think I'm singing a lot louder and harder than I am. Yeah. But it's like, it's probably pretty whisper quiet.
Yeah, one of the best singers I ever saw was the guy from the Bouncing Souls, and I like what he just like.
He's great.
He's like very quiet though.
Yeah,
like
you kind of. I think it's like, and the more that you do that, like it's like the closer you are to the mic, the more satisfying it is for all of us. Because it's like we're more in you.
Yeah, it was weird. So I was like, it was hard for me even to believe that he was doing it.
The first time I took Cass to see the Bouncing Souls, she was like whispering to me, like, are they playing a track or something?
Because he sounded so good, and the music was so loud, but they just like mixed it really well.
They mixed it perfectly, and like he doesn't have to strain his voice because he's been doing it for so long.
Like really good metal scream singers are like that too. Like it sounds like they're just being so loud, because most of us, like, you're processing that with your body, and you're like, I'd have to be so loud to do that, but it's like they're so good they can do it quietly, and
they're like.
Well, we also learned that in like our first guitar lesson. Rob was like, you think all these guys are fucking hitting it? He's like, they're not. Yeah. They make it look like they are. They're really just barely hitting the string. Yeah, I do too. I play way too hard. I gotta pee. You guys can hold it down. Yeah, we'll hold it down.
Well, I was thinking also about like, it reminds me, reason I think Neil Young has been able to keep writing really good records is I feel like he's just someone who's been so devoted to the muse. And then there's people like Eddie Murphy, who like talk about comedians. Like they did that first album,
he had two, three
first albums or whatever. And I was like, I'm going to go make a shit ton of money doing like Mr. Doolittle and all these different movies. Dr.
Which are
Doolittle.
great. And,
but he just took himself off that scene.
Yeah.
It's less to say.
Well, yeah.
So the people who still have something to say despite like going to the echelons of like fame and success.
Yeah, well,
it's very impressive.
It's why I'm always so impressed by Louis C.K., because his new thing is always his best thing.
But I thought it only started to get better
after he got canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was starting to trail off a little bit, where it's like okay.
Louis C.K. getting canceled was like the best gift to comedy ever, and that sounds weird to say, but in a way it was, because.
Well, you're lucky he's like brave and strong, I guess. Because not everybody
crushed
could have done
anyone
what he
else.
did with it,
Yeah.
right?
Anyone else would have been crushed by that.
You know, I think it speaks a lot to who he is and
Yeah.
knowing himself and believing, you know,
Yeah.
betting on himself and not crumbling. It's pretty good, admirable, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
It
And
speaks to his case too. You know what I mean? If he crumbled, it wouldn't look as good.
no.
He'd be like, I'm guilty.
He's got a lot of reasons to crumble. That's what your brain would go. You know?
Yeah.
What I mean? Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
but now that he just stands for himself, you're like, all right, maybe he's not such a bad dude. Like,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And now he's uncancelable because there's nothing to. He already had everything taken away, and now the only way he makes money is through his website. He produces his own things, he funds his own things, and he sells them through his website. He sells his tickets through his website. He rents out Madison Square Garden and tries to fucking sell it out, and like, so it's cool.
Yeah, I think he's gonna keep having like a golden hour because archetypally his comedy and who he is has always sort of been old man, and he's stepping into that pretty hard.
Now he looks the part,
Now he
and
looks
it's
more
like-
the part, and I think he has a funny bit in the stand-up routine about like being a hot stepdad or something, right? There's
Yeah.
something about like he
He
knew
doesn't-
it wasn't his time younger in life, but now
Yeah.
like when all the jocks are like fat and stuff, he's got other stuff going on that he can offer women, and so he's like a
That's good.
hot older person now.
That's really good.
He was glad that he was ugly when he was younger. Yeah, he's funny. I love him. He's great. And yeah, it is sad. I think I told you guys I had a client sort of use the language of like, yeah, I like wanted to watch his special, but I'm not allowed to like him or not supposed to like him. And there's just so much quick dismissal.
I tried to turn a friend onto
now.
Matt and Shane, who just been addicted to Howard Stern, and
Yeah.
like I was, I loved Howard Stern, but he fell off big time.
Yeah.
Talk about a rich guy just losing touch with his audience.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, you should get into Matt and Shane. They share the same personality as us and like
Yeah.
same jokes. And he was like, didn't that guy get canceled? And I was like, damn,
Yeah.
I forgot how potent
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
taking your cultural medicine as to what's approved and what's not.
Yeah.
It sucks because it eliminates a lot of the great stuff out there. If you start picking and choosing, if you can't separate the art from the artist and you start picking and choosing like that, slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because most people are twisted jokers in some way, and that's how they ended up even becoming an artist, because all other avenues weren't available to them.
Yeah, totally. That is a huge thing in the collective consciousness right now, separating art from the artist.
It's a
and
tough one.
businessman from the human, and
Mhm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
we're all feeling like it needs to all be aligned now. I don't know if we used to think that.
No, I mean, there's always been a segment of society, yeah, that has that. But I don't know. I think for the most part, we used to have a little bit like more compassion and respect for the full context of who someone was. I don't think there was the itchy trigger finger to hold some person at their lowest moment.
Yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
it's because we just have so much to choose from? It's just an easy way to like get something out of your choice docket. You know, like we
Yeah.
have infinite choices now, so it's like any reason to get something off of the choices.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this week. I remember my mom, when I was working at Bang, some drama came up about somebody that was above me working there, some like sort of sexual scandal or whatever. And I was trying to like, you know, it was just girl gossip, like shit talk or whatever. And she could totally shut me down, and not like a aggressive or negative way, but just in like you shouldn't give a fuck what any guy does with their dick or anybody does with their genitals. She said genitals. I remember that very vividly. She was like, you should not spend any time thinking about what people do with their genitals off the clock. And I was like,
That's pretty
yes, Carolyn, thank you for that check. You're right. I should not be. Who cares what they're doing with their genitals outside of work?
It seems like a small thing, but it's
It's a really big thing.
You're like, oh, whoa.
If they're rubbing it on the intern, it might be a little bit of a different thing.
yeah, that's
but-
one thing.
There was lots of sexual harassment, but I just needed that like separation of like, I really don't care. Like, you know, you need to choose how much you invest in each person. Like, what are they offering for you? How much do you need to invest in all of their person and know about all of their person?
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It shifted something in me
Mm.
that was holding on to like people needing to be perfect all the time for me to respect them or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care what he does.
Well, there's a lot of different things that fuel greatness, and probably pussy is one of them. Or you know what I mean?
For sure.
Sex is definitely numero uno, I'm sure, on the docket of motivating things for people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think about this, and it's that, but it's also probably just on a deeper level, like validating you as a human being. because I think that's mainly what people get off with sex is acceptance and validation, and you got picked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of it's the playtime, but for a lot of humans, I think it's like more of the distortion of like ego, like I matter to someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, sex is validating. It means like you're worth pleasure, you're worth being enjoyed, you know, and so like when people don't, yeah. Anyways, sex robots will be good.
They'll be good. That'll help our play.
They'll validate everybody.
There's always some product that'll come along that deals with the symptoms of capitalism crushing our souls. Speaking of a product that comes along, we watched this disturbing documentary about One Taste, that sex cult that where like you sign up, and if you're a woman, you get jerked off by a guy, and like there's a way to stroke a woman, and they teach you how to stroke a pussy, and then
it's just stroking the clit.
Yeah,
just
and they don't do, and the woman doesn't do anything to you or whatever. And we've done podcasts about this. We knew someone that was in this, and she did podcasts with us, and she spoke very highly of it. And she was like full on doing whatever this leader said, you know.
She was taking the prescription.
She was taking the prescription. One of them was called the Radical Prescription, and she was like, she came to us once just as a friend and was like, I just had sex with 48 guys over 48 days. And we were like, what the fuck? And it arose that thing that you're talking about. That's why I even thought of this. It arose that thing of like, this isn't right. You know what I mean? Like, do we say something or like that? It's just like, you know what I mean? Like this little puritanical, judgmental fucking person in you that like wants to like make sure someone's cool. She seemed fine or whatever, but it just seemed strange that somebody would tell someone else to do that. And then, you know, she would tell us how like, you know, she would do these orgasmic meditations with multiple different men, and it was every day. And then like we watched this documentary, and it's like,
yeah,
it's a fucking crazy ass sex cult nightmare that was run by a woman whose father died in prison after 52 counts of childhood sexual assault, that she said she helped him. She lured the girls in.
Jesus Christ.
And then started this sex cult, and basically would charge men like 15 grand, and you get to come learn this skill, and you get all these partners or whatever. But what happened is like barely any women sign up for this because your bodies know better, your instincts and everything knows better.
We can get our clit stroked.
Yeah,
without
exactly.
A program.
Exactly. And little you don't need your clit stroked by a bunch of incels who are going through God knows what, and they're willing to pay 15 grand to do it. Like, just the whole thing is fucking insane. But this documentary fucking disturbed us, cause like, especially because we knew someone deep in this thing, and just how much we've tried to practice non-judgment, just watching our friend go fucking deep into this thing to the point where she won't watch this film.
Aww.
Because she's still practicing this.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think
It's
for
like,
her, she doesn't feel like it's how you take it in. Like something that can be
definitely.
abusive to someone else or traumatizing to someone else is actually like a path of healing. But I think this woman was applying her very masculine approach to healing and thinking it was the prescription for everyone, you know. And I think not everyone's meant to go in and through their trauma by like healing the rape by being raped. You know what I mean? Like that's
Totally. Yeah, it gets you. Well, it gets me thinking so much just about the victim aggressor dynamic, and like, at what point are we trusting the process of like path and spirituality, and like when do you want to intervene in that dynamic? Because both sides are willing and participating.
That's
in
what
most
this
of
film's
right?
all
so it's
about.
Like, it's such a mind fuck. It's like, and at what level is that victim participation healing that person secretly on some level? How much is it just like traumatizing them more? Because you're right, both sides are true for different people or different times or different parts. Sorry.
She has zero acknowledgement of the victim narrative existing. She's just like, her whole thing was like, I want to make a t-shirt that's like, I got raped and all I got was this lousy victim story.
Yeah,
you know?
like she's hardcore, like.
So for her, the whole thing.
Like, you didn't get raped.
It's also like you got to think about the psychology of a woman who, as a girl, lured other girls her age to then be molested by her father. So there's like this disdain and hatred for
victims.
You know, the victims who led her father to being jailed. But her whole thing was like, my father was like a fourth dimensional person. Like, he was so expansive that he just couldn't abide by the boundaries of our society. And so she's
let this dude off the hook in every conceivable dimension.
So he's definitely was fucking her.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
and so that's why
Absolutely.
she also like has a disdain for all victims because she's like like she surrendered, it seems.
Yeah.
What I can deduce is surrendered to her dad sexualizing her and probably
Yeah.
sexually abusing her into like, okay, well, I'm going to love him with the grace of God and forgiveness and everything and surrender into it. So her whole thing was like men should honor their beast mode and women are just here to like surrender to it and look at them with like loving eyes because it's our fear of men that creates their aggression and kind of just
Think about the type of guys that this would start to attract. And that's why this film is kind of well done in a way. I don't even know if they meant to make it this well done.
Yeah.
Because the first half, you're sitting there like, yeah, she's making some good points. This is cool. Like,
Yeah.
some of these people are fucking fools for forking over money to learn how to finger somebody.
Right.
But whatever.
Right.
Okay, cool. They're finding community.
Yeah,
Well, I don't see the problem here.
definitely.
And then it takes such a turn in the other direction that you're like forced to kind of deal with all the feelings that you had in the first half of the movie and be like, oh wow, this is a bad person that's got her hooks in a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think she helped a lot of people like get in
It's-
touch with their sexuality.
I think she helped our friend.
Yeah, of course.
Our friend seems, I hate to say it, she seems better off for having done this, but she's such a rare bird. Like, we know no one else like her. We might know a couple other people like her, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But someone that could handle having sex with 48 different people.
It's why I didn't
know?
have sex with a guy for so long. Is this like the scariest stories I read in the human existence are women completely brainwashed by men, which seems to happen chemically from sex no matter what.
Yeah.
This is, I feel like I got privy to this, you know?
Yeah.
That's like the Virgo wisdom or something. And it's like, once you start fucking a guy, like you don't even know how he's penetrating you in your psyche. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about your skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
know how, like, as women, like, we really do, like, dissolve into the man that happens to be, you know,
With me, you're like,
It's-
at least he has good taste in music. Whatever. I know
yeah,
this is
it's
sinister.
terrifying how powerful hormones are, though.
Yeah.
You know, we just change
Yeah.
each other's chemistry and personalities and belief systems and views of the world. And
Yeah.
holy cannolis, she's still out here fucking repping this guy. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this it's pretty insane. This film, we recommend it. It brings up a lot. It brings up a lot. It's pretty disturbing, and they went pretty far out. Like, it's total cartoonish sex cult vibe
Yeah.
to the point where they're like doing church ceremonies and like people are dressed as nuns and priests, and it's all just fucking hand jobs. Like, the whole thing is so weird. And just like forcing employees that hate each other to have sex. Oh, it's insane. The whole thing is just crazy, and just like,
It's amazing.
like, I don't know. The whole it was just.
I think what we really came to, or what I came to, is like we're humans having a human experience, and I think some people like to bypass our humanity and say like take the spiritual one-liners of like we're all one, we're all God, and then apply it to how you relate to other people, and kind of like you are inherently flawed if you can't surrender to letting whatever someone else wants to do to you, and that's maybe not for humans all the time. It's for, you know, it is a path, but I think it caused a lot more harm than help for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, and then it's such a specific, like, letting somebody do, are you led or are you participating? You know, it's kind of choosing where you draw the line of duality, because there is an angle where, like, you're no longer the victim too. You're like perpetrating when you're that participating in what you are aware of as distortion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's, I mean,
Like,
yeah.
like to say it's the higher thing to, you know, and that's his own philosophical argument or whatever. But yeah, hopefully the age of Aquarius will, after this Saturn and Pisces dissolve, like some of more of our human desire to need somebody else's belief system to feel safe. And I think that's what some of the like chastity in religion is from that, like, knowing that when you mix with other people, you get less of your own journey or thought path or whatever. And we just like misunderstood that in an extreme way where we were like, no sex ever. And that's probably not what's.
We could probably be better at keeping younger kids abstinent if we talked about it in a more spiritual, like a true spiritual capacity, not like, oh, you need to say pure, but like, no, it's your life force, your trajectory in life could be corrupted by someone else's desires at a young age.
That's a really good way to put it. And also, like, Yeah, it breaks my heart more than most things when I hear women don't enjoy sex, and I hear that like a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like you want a spiritual conversation around it. You want like a fun, like, hey, it's like really rough to be in a body. Like you're gonna go through this human experience wondering why we did this. There's a lot of suffering, but like there's great enjoyment and pleasure in eating things like tomatoes and being able to touch your skin on somebody else's skin.
Yeah.
And these like things I think in this airspace that we incarnate into now online that we can get so easily disconnected from, the simple pleasures in life that tend to like make the biggest difference.
Oh yeah.
In us feeling like we should be here at all,
Well, and the void that is created by people not being fulfilled in that way is always occupied with grifters, and they're waiting.
Yeah.
And I feel like anytime there's a convenient product for whatever ails you, you gotta be suspicious of that thing, especially when it's cloaked in spirituality. And I think that the jig is up with all this stuff. And we were talking about, I'm not going to name names, but we were talking about some of this morning where we're seeing people that have like cloaked their whole shit in like spirituality when it's really just like, you're just talking shit like everyone else. They're starting to see how ridiculous that seems. And they're starting to try to retreat more into silly comedic,
There's something beautiful about the cancel culture, and that right now, like the death of our idols is happening like every day. And now like Elon Musk is like looking like a fool. And it's like this really beautiful space to not idolize people, or just to put people in their place of like, okay, you are as good as you are, you're probably that bad too. And that's cool.
Exactly.
Because that's what I am too.
It's super cool. I was just watching a TikTok star young lady talk about this, and I love that the video was popular and the people were liking it. And people are definitely in the front of their minds getting off of wanting to worship other people and idols, and it's super cool.
Can you serve me one of those?
That's what I'm doing.
You're the best. Yeah, you guys were listening to me talk about it this morning. Now,
yeah.
Like, we're a year and a half removed from our crazy mushroom and Syrian roux experience. And like that to me was like probably the last little wisps of that inside of me, that wanting to put someone on a pedestal, that wanting to look up to somebody, anoint someone a father figure, because my dad is so more of a dad than a father, got totally burned out by like our friend fucking serving us and just not knowing how to hold good space, and just like, I'm just like, why was I fucking putting this guy on a pedestal? I like his art.
Yeah.
That's it. It can just be that.
Yeah.
And you can still like his art.
I could still like his art, and I still like him as a friend.
And you can still
But there is no mentor here. There is no I'm looking up to. He doesn't know anything I don't know. He knows how to do he knows how to perform and do certain rituals.
You can be impressed by like his discipline.
I'm very impressed by his discipline, and I'll always be impressed by people that have good discipline. But in terms of like that burned down the pedestal, there's no one else to go up on a pedestal because the pedestal got burned down, and it happened by having an alien encounter and watching this guy try to like masculine energy through what is a very feminine, crazy, chaotic receiving, chaotic process.
Listening.
Listening. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the humanization of people that's going on right now. And I think at the same time that so much of the process needs to be more internalized, and there's not necessarily so much that you need to learn from other people. I think obviously you can always learn from everyone all the time. And that's the beautiful thing about interacting with anyone, like anyone ever, all of the time, is the differences in them are going to teach you something about yourself and your experience. And so I think with the like burning the pedestal, as you say, down, hopefully we also burn down the like lower echelons we carve out for people and think like I can only get stuff from these people, or, because the truth is like the separation between all of us is what is like giving us information,
It's partly.
You want one? Did you just
She just took the last. I left nothing in there. She would have one. I was thinking about this the other day, like the missed opportunity, and we might get the opportunity again, I hope not, the missed opportunity to do some real deep shadow work as a country when Trump was our president. And instead,
our Pluto
people, instead of doing the shadow work, people either demonized him or worshipped him. And it's like, oh man, this figure came along that we were all obsessed with paying attention to for one reason or another. And no one took anything out of it. No one took away anything other than more idol worship or more whatever it is my parents do, the liberal fucking side of it, which is the same thing. You're still obsessed with this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's get something out of it.
This is what he was a devil.
This little devil.
He was a devil. He played the part of the devil for a lot of people.
Which comes along and just reveals. And he was just like the perfect embodiment of what America is and always has been.
Yeah.
And we got
so
this
too.
cartoonishly loud reflection, and we did nothing with it. And but if anything, in the long run, I think it might serve as like what that mushroom ceremony served as for me. Just like, I think a lot of people quietly just burned down the pedestal once and for all, and they were like, why am I paying attention to any politician or putting anyone on any kind of pedestal? Like, if this guy could be our president, this whole thing's obviously a fucking joke. You know, what I think slowly but surely people will come around to that. But man, I thought that was going to be like the psychedelic moment of this country, of just everybody en masse, like dropping the whole belief in our government thing, you know. And it might have happened. It just might have happened in a more subtle way that's going to take longer to kind of see.
I think it has happened. I think that a recognition of like there's not that much of a difference between like blue and red
Mm-hmm.
is like, especially the younger generation's a little more hip to that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
theory.
I think so. Do you know anyone your age or younger that is a Democrat or a Republican?
I don't really hang out with people my age.
That's true. I don't think that they're doing that,
So
though.
it's hard.
I don't think
I feel
anyone
like they're
is
political.
rah-rah.
I feel like there's so much like left political stuff with young kids.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
transcends red and blue.
Electoral
It's like,
politics. That's more of a way of being in the world.
Yeah.
yeah, and Biden doesn't represent those people,
Well, they don't really have anyone to represent them.
right?
Soon enough, some grifter will come along and try to, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, the government thing is another pedestal that needs to burn down for people.
I mean, it could be, like I'm saying, it could be like we're in the wildfire that's taking it down right now, and it's just hard to see through all the smoke and flames, but it is happening. Because, look, we're still in a fucking pandemic. Everything's chaos. We're, like, headed towards a recession right now. The media's acting like everything's hunky-dory, but, like, anyone out here in the thick of it is like, yo, shit's fucking pretty bad. More people are depressed and in despair and addicted than ever. Like, there's more fucking crazy people out in the streets everywhere we go than ever.
Yeah.
More people are being displaced and fired and treated like trash. Like, we know how it really is. So it could be happening in real time, but just because the story we're being fed is more different than the story people are living than ever before. Like, this is the biggest chasm between the story we're being fed about what America is and what it actually is this is like the most contrast there's ever been in that space. So we could be in the wildfire that's burning down all future pedestals, you know.
On the other side of a forest fire, though, there's like the ground is fertile in a different way, and new growth comes up, and a new way of relating and being and structuring, because our society is going to continue to need and have structure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In order to operate.
But this one is just so not serving us that it has to change in some way, because it's just like we just
what
can't
kind
keep
of structure though? We have so many roads.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying that the current system that we're all abiding by and paying attention to their law and order or whatever, like, is so owned and corrupted. Like, there's no way to say, like, oh, no, we just got to tinker around with this and make it a little bit better. Like, we literally just have to start living a different way. And, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that 300 people are going to represent, like, 8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And decide what your moral code should be and how you should be living your life is like the most insane agreement we ever got into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. I don't know though. It like, yeah, the younger generation's being so broke and not being able to have homes and stuff. Like,
that's what's doing it, really.
It's ripe for revolution stuff, but like, I don't even know what a revolution, looks like in that kind of a sense.
I mean, it's pretty bad. it's it's pretty bad. I mean, it's not something I don't take lightly, because if you read about what it's like in other countries when revolutions break out, it's ugly. It's fucking class warfare, and it's gloves off class warfare, as if we're not already living through it. But imagine them really just turning on us. But something's got to give, and it's going to be something like that. Like, how come we can't afford houses? Our parents were able to get houses. Our grandparents were able to get houses. Like, and all of a sudden, it's completely out of reach. How come we can't afford educations?
Well, there's a deck and it's getting rigged.
Yeah.
At every step.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even your parents, like, they know that they're coming for every last dollar of the boomers generation. They want all that retirement money.
Yeah, my mom's trying to retire in like 8 weeks, and all of a sudden she's like, I lost $200,000 in the market. I'm like, yeah, the market's rigged against you. They know exactly what's happening. They're not going to let you take that pot of gold that you accumulated. Are you kidding me? They're not going to let you get away with that. They're going to figure out how to force your hand to keep fucking doing your labor for another 10 years. Sad. That's a depressing conversation.
The economics of hell are super depressing. I can't get into. That's what I'm saying. We're just at this point where, like, you just have to curate. It's like the depression holes are so easy to fall into. There's just specific angles of humanity you just can't. Just don't look that way.
I know. Yeah, I know.
And I know you're going to call me like a white privileged spiritualist for not looking that way, but like,
it's not like you're not aware of it. You live in this. You live in the Lower East Side. I don't think you need to fucking be refreshing Twitter to find out the world is a hellhole. You just have to go outside your apartment.
Yeah,
talk to any of these motherfuckers down in the corner. What the fuck?
I watched the middle class disintegrate around me since I've lived here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's been, like, the zombie apocalypse has risen, and also the frat boys have come in, and you just have this sharp contrast of, like, my frat boys partying all the time, on their cocaines and their sunglasses and stuff, and then right next to, like, amputee victims and, like, people without families, all of them people without families.
Yeah.
And the only difference between, like, the bro whose mom is supporting his apartment and this person doing fucking crack on the corner is, like, this guy has a mom.
Simple as that.
It's like,
that's like 90% of homelessness is that. It's catastrophic loss of family.
Yeah,
and
like,
people have no one, and they're out there.
You go broke and you can't live in your mom's basement.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, other thing.
Yeah, there's no safety net. And then you end up in that situation. And in this country, 40% of homeless people have full-time jobs.
Wow.
That statistic should make everybody fucking stop in their tracks.
Wow.
40% of these people have full-time jobs.
Wow.
The people we're seeing down in the corner right there, probably are not. They're probably part of the 60%.
They have a different full-time job.
Yeah.
It's talking to aliens on crack.
Exactly.
You have to be really accountable. You have to show up every day to that one.
Oh, yeah.
They're giving you downloads this way, that way.
The aliens love shooting downloads to, like, just outside the Burger King at the end of your block. Like,
that's their spot.
Yeah, it's an
They're
unexpected
just
spot.
over there.
This sounds like something out of Rick and Morty, but, like, they really do seem to beam weird messages and possess people right down there.
The cops, like, put a poster that's, like, promoting dope on our corner. You remember our dope poster?
Yeah.
It's like, cool.
Yeah.
We just have a bag of dope with some cartoons on it. Seems super fun. Made me want to do it. I was like, where is this dealer that I see every day?
Yeah.
Don't be a dope, and it's like this cool cartoon. And you're like, that actually looks really great.
Super fun. You guys, I want to see cartoons. I have new characters in that fucking.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I was coming around the BK Corner Lounge 2 days ago, and I just got hit in the head with a fan because one crack guy was falling. And I don't mean to, like, crack guys. I just don't know his name. I love him. I respect him. It's not to degrade him. I know he's on crack.
My dad used to be a crack guy.
Yeah,
he was a crack guy.
He throws his fan around the corner to this other guy, like, at this other guy. They're having this argument.
Oh,
and
man.
it literally was like, that's
wow.
amazing.
Have you ever been out there and been like, I gotta fight a motherfucker?
Yeah, there's been a couple times, like, the guy that followed me and Mowgli that was, like, really trying to fight us. There was a white guy not that long ago, and that was the night that somebody got shot on my street, and I think he may have shot somebody or somebody shot him.
Wow.
But then literally 3 nights ago, somebody followed me to my door, and I wasn't with Mowgli. Because he's usually, like, it depends. Like, he can attract people, he can deter people. Depends who you are. And that was kind of creepy. Because, like, that guy, the white guy, was threatening my dog And so that's when I'm like, am I gonna have to kick you in the face? Like if you kick my dog, I'm gonna have to kick you in the face.
Don't you think Mowgli would take care of it at that point? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not scared at all when we're out there with Mowgli. I'm like,
It's just crazy though, because like I'm such a mom. Like Mowgli goes to fight somebody, like I'm gonna fight you too. I'm not a fair fighter. It's 2 against 1 now, bitch. Like this is family style. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I'm fucking.
somebody's gonna get their head kicked in tonight.
And it's not my dog.
Yeah. Holy shit.
So that's the only time I go like fight mode. I'm a flight gal, you know. I just run. I choose to not face it, and I do like. I try and have a healthy interaction with them because they are my neighbors and I see them like, and it's like I've had amazing conversations with a lot of them as well, but it's a delicate balance of like engaging enough and not engaging too much that you're like their day now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, because I've also had to like sit outside of that bakery for 30 minutes. You know, you just you get caught up in stuff. Yeah,
We've done the whole thing. 72 hours with a homeless guy on acid.
yeah. Sometimes you get caught up. Oh my gosh.
But you know, it's crazy because, and I hate to say this, but it's just I've lived it and it's true. I think there's archetypes. I think there's certain people look a certain way and they attract the attention of like the more kooky.
Yeah, I
far
definitely
out people.
attract crazy people.
But not in a way where they're attacking you.
No.
Or coming at
No,
you.
no, no.
Like,
They want to be my friend.
They want to be your friend. Me, they completely ignore.
Okay.
Cass, they seem to ignore.
Yeah.
I've listened to maybe 100 episodes of Joe List and Mark Normand have a podcast that's incredible called Tuesdays with Stories. Joe List gets accosted by homeless people everywhere he goes. He has terrifying stories. He has anxiety and hang-ups all about it. He won't take the subway anymore. I hate to say it. Because he looks like a nerd.
A punchable face. Or
He
something.
just looks like a guy that got bullied in high school, and I hate to say, I look like the kind of guy of just like, almost like I'm not even there. I don't even register. You know, like I can ignore people in a way where they're like, they don't fuck with me, you know?
Yeah.
But I think certain people, like, you attract everyone. Like, man, going around with Mare last night, people are just like talking to her, and I'm like, feeling the need to respond. I'm like, oh wait, this happens to you all the time. You have to ignore this. You can't give this guy a breadcrumb. And I'm like trying to respond and diffuse. I'm like, oh, we just walk away. I forgot. You go through this all the time. Nobody fucking says anything to me when I'm out in the streets. You know, it's kind of why we have this documentary what is it?
Project.
I was going to say another word. I can't
Documentary fetish.
Yeah, it forces me to engage in a way I wouldn't. At Halloween, I know you think I'm a pedophile, but like literally.
Wait, come on. Wait, we need to.
We have to settle that.
We have to settle this.
You're
when we're
I'm having existential crises about pedophiles.
No, I know. And it is, when you put it that way, I'm like, God, it's kind of what disturbs me while we're out there.
Well, I feel like you're admiring people who have a full developed body, the opposite of pedophilia, actually.
What were you talking about,
But basically, when we're out there, and especially, and I admire this skill about Cass and I, now Joey's really good at it, it's like we're scanning a crowd of 25,000 people as casting people.
Yeah.
So we're like, who is the person who looks the part and is going to say something that brings the house down?
Or it has that aura too. You just feel their energy. I'm sure you have to
feel
be
it.
around them.
And unfortunately on this thing, we had to suss through a lot of fucking Destiny sluts to do that. Like there's packs of them everywhere, and they have nothing to do with what we're doing. They really don't. They're on coke. They're not psychedelic. They're a different breed. I don't even know what else to call them. It's not even derogatory. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're distracting. Yeah. But like we're scanning the crowd and we're like, no, Destiny sluts, old head. No, not right. And it's like, oh, fucking pack of wooks. Like, let's go. And it forces me to engage in a way that like I otherwise wouldn't. I think probably because I'm just too much of a introvert pothead, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty introverted, but.
People will probably hear this podcast and think like we would hang out and oh my God, Sean's like fast paced, like we're chopping it up. Like I'm so quiet. I feel like, and the more people that get around, like I just get quieter. Like there's a few people like you guys bring out a side of me, Joey brings out a side of me, but like I usually get quieter around people and more want to like listen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely feel like I attract wild people.
And pedophiles.
Yeah. Yes.
We're not pedophiles.
I can't even believe that this conversation went that direction.
It's all Mare had. She feels very upset with us, so she just had to fucking throw out a big bomb to start this podcast. So if anyone's still listening to us fucking pedophiles.
Stop. I'm like, Jesus
It's crazy. We
Christ.
just got fucking remonetized on YouTube,
Yeah.
and now we're going to get demonetized again.
Oh my God. Let's not do this
No,
podcast.
I'm kidding. No, come
I
on.
don't want to demonetize you guys.
We're not getting demonetized. We're fucking around. We're hitting dabs. If anything, that's what gets us fucking demonetized.
I'm shadow banned.
Yeah, I know.
So that's fun.
I think that's the new thing with YouTube. It's like you're basically shadow banned from the beginning. You have to figure out your way out of the labyrinth of being shadow banned.
Interesting.
I do think that's we have fucking almost 19,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
We can't get our videos to them. you know.
Yeah.
So, but I think now that we're remonetized, it might change.
I used to get like automatically like 60 views on each of those shorts that I posted, and now I get none.
See, they're fucking with you.
Yeah.
They're fucking with you.
And I use like the most generic hashtags ever. So it's
See,
not
if
like
they,
I'm
if,
not. I'm
if
like
they were
news.
smart, they would boost a channel like yours. Because like yours has so much potential to make them so much money eventually. You know what I mean? You just need to get to the point. Whatever. This is boring.
No, I know.
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm just saying like, yeah.
I don't know if they have like people out there that are like looking at people's stuff to actually curate like, oh, this people, you know, I guess it's all bots or whatever.
Yeah, it's bots. You can't even talk to a person. Which is good because like we just reapplied for monetization. It didn't even see. And the reason we were demonetized is because before we were on YouTube, we had all these films, and anyone that asked, can I post this on my channel, I would let them. So they don't think we made American Juggalo. They don't think we own Oxiana. So they think we're reposting someone's content.
Yeah.
And
well, that's, I guess, a good reason.
Yeah,
Trying to protect
yeah.
your films.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Now we're remonetized, but it would help if you're still listening to us and you love us. You don't it helps when people leave comments. You don't even have to leave a comment. Just shoot a little emoji or something in the comment section. I think it helps engage the algorithm or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think there's people out there that would dig this podcast that don't even know about it, and they're subscribed to our channel. You know?
Yeah.
So weird.
Definitely.
So weird.
Do you think the bots are against spirituality?
It's hard to say because I do get a lot of that stuff pushed my way, but it's always from like the pre-approved. It's always from like Alan Watts, Ram Dass, you know, those kind of things. But I don't know.
Well, it's not like I'm doing that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're Puffco.
You don't feel like you're shadow banned anymore?
We'll find out. I think it'll take a little bit to realize.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like I don't know. There's some nudity in some of our stuff. That,
Yeah.
You know, anytime somebody puts it in the time code, like people will like timestamp it. I delete those comments.
That's smart.
Because I'm just like,
That's smart.
stop. Just be cool.
That's smart.
Yeah. Yeah. There's only just a couple moments of brief nudity.
Seems like there's a lot of nudity on there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have cam girls on YouTube.
No, not with your stuff. I know. Like,
all over YouTube.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
meant,
there's
like,
all
on
kinds
YouTube.
of fucking wild shit. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But we have some cool stuff coming. We've been filming this movie Wooks. I want to start putting it together. I think it might be done.
Yeah.
I gotta sit
Seems
down
like
and
you
look
guys-
at the footage.
Yeah.
It's all a blur when you're walking around and talking to that many people.
Right.
You know, it's so invigorating. It's so good for me.
Yeah.
You know, like that's kind of the bummer of wrapping up a movie like this. Even is like, oh, I like hanging out in these environments and talking to these people, and like, it's so rich. It's kind of like fish in a barrel sometimes. You're just like, no one gave us a hard time at Halloween. There was no Wook chicks attacked us. Like
Oh,
we
that's
were
great.
used to that. We were like, look, there's 25,000 people here. Someone is going to
Right.
get in our fucking shit. No one got in our shit. No one gave us a hard time. Anyone that we pointed the camera towards was like totally inviting of it. It was great.
Really fun. It was really fun.
It was. Yeah, this was fun. We could keep going. Maybe we could do more on the Patreon if you guys want to keep just fucking getting high on this Puffco and talking shit. Yeah. We have lots of shit on the Patreon. Please join up. It's worth it just for the Discord, but there's also tons of music on there.
So much good stuff. I also, this is a good time to announce that I've been meaning to do this for a long time, but Mare gives the best readings, and we're gonna buy a reading for whoever. We're gonna do like a giveaway.
How should we do it?
I have a giveaway bot in the Discord. I
cool.
just have to do it.
Yeah. If you wanna get a reading, if you wanna win a reading with Mare,
A reading on us.
which could be life changing.
Yep.
It really has affected my life so much. Like looking at the current setup and what's coming forward, and just having like a more zoomed out perspective of everything that's going on has like given me some ground to stand on, and also like a life raft during the storms.
And thank God that we met Mare. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I can say. Especially right during the most tumultuous fucking time so far in our relationship.
The beginning
Like-
of the end of everything and everyone.
Yeah.
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 Exactly. Well, yeah, that's where I was starting to feel like, well, I have something. I'll continue this conversation as we move over.
Yeah, join us on the Patreon. Peace, Love, and Magic. Patreon.com/Church of Chill. Ay, ay, ay. Shoo.